review of round 12. Quick run through the scores, and then I'll ask you guys about the games. But we've already mentioned, great way to start off the round with the Chiefs going down to the Reds, losing their first game. Were they 9-0 to start the season? Or were they 10-0?
They were 10-0. That's right. Yeah.
10-0.
The first, yeah. And the Reds, it had been since 2013 that they'd won against a New Zealand side.
Mm-hmm.
One
against the Chiefs or one in New Zealand.
In New Zealand.
I think it was beating the Chiefs in New Zealand.
No, I think it was any New Zealand team.
No, I mean, look,
New Zealand.
We're not really in doubt of that. So, yeah, no, fair. Anyway, massive achievement. Who knew that it was going to be up to the Reds to stop the Chiefs? But, yeah, what a performance from them. Well, I guess we'll go through it game by game. But, yeah, for me, it was physicality. Like, they absolutely smothered the Chiefs the entire game. Like, I've never seen such consistent line speed. It was unbelievable.
It was absolutely cracking for them. Like, really, really good to see. What was a bit disappointing was in Drua not being able to make that flight over, do well against the Force. Force got that 134-14 before another game that was a little disappointing. Yes, it was a Moana B team, Moana Pacifica. Good to see them get some people on the paddock, but they went down to the Canes 71-22.
Just a couple of tries in that one.
That is a huge couple of games now, because that makes 130 points the Hurricanes have scored against Moana this season in 2 fixtures.
Yeah, and look, that game, adds up to 93 points. And this next match, Crusaders Blues, there was 18. Crusaders taking this one.
But two very different games, though, I have to say. Yeah.
And I've got to say, the funny thing is, the one with 18 points probably had more really outrageously ridiculous tries that shouldn't have been allowed as well. The Tamati Williams knock on, mate, crazy. There's no way that was a try. But we digress. The Tars, how good? The Tars 3 in a row, 38-20 over the Rebels, looked in trouble and came home so strong to come over the top of them. Half-time, I thought we were absolutely cooked, if I'm being honest. I thought the Rebels were the far better side. It was only for Monty Ioane bombing 2 tries that we got away with any kind of close match at half-time, 15-18.
That game was never in doubt, even being down 14-0 about 10 minutes in. You know, we backed the boys. Tars had it in the bag the whole time. But, yeah, scoreless second half from the Rebels. Huge.
Well, speaking of never in doubt, the Brumbies versus the Highlanders, Jesus Christ, they looked like they were going to go real close in that one. But it was about the last 15, 20 minutes, they blew them away and the Highlanders just couldn't stick with them. It was almost like the whole game, the Brums looked like they weren't that motivated. But once they realised that they might actually not win the game, they're like, all right, boys, turn it on. It's time. We can't actually lose this game. We've got a shot at first in the actual regular season. We better actually start playing. And they just kind of went up a gear and the Highlanders couldn't go with them. But 48-32 in that one. Another good game to finish the round as well.
Yeah, it was good to see. And that actually makes it 4 Aussie wins from the last 6 matches against Kiwi rivals, which is something you love to see. And yes, you can bank on it. I'm saying the last 6. Not talking about the last 8. Not talking about any other number. The last 6, there's 4 Aussie wins. But yeah, we also had 4 Aussie wins in this round. That's the first time. I think someone put it up on Twitter. It's been a very, very long time. It was like 2015 or 2013 or something since we've had 4 Aussie wins. Obviously, it's pretty hard to pull off. But yeah, we had 2 wins over Kiwis, a win over a Fiji side, and obviously the better Aussie team out of the Tarzan Rebels one. So that's what matters. But
it begs the question, when are New Zealand going to centralise their system entirely so that they can compete with us?
We've always owned that. We present the stats that favour Australian sides when they favour Australian sides. It's rare that we get to say these kind of things. But
no, this is not a biased podcast. So I won't accept that.
Okay, of course. Now, Harry, you were going to talk about Subaru, actually.
Yeah, I just quickly touching on the man that has led the competition forever. There can only be one. Still ahead, 2 points ahead of Sensation, sitting in second. But there's been some movement for the bronze. Year of the Tars jumps up to third. How funny is it that the Tars 3-game winning streak is aligned with him climbing up the table? So Brad Breth even on points with him now, but up the Year of the Tars. I've got a favourite on the tipping as well because it ain't me. So congratulations to those three.
I thought for sure one of you were going to claim it. It was going to be your second or third account in this tipping call. But
I think the person that runs the account may be able to just prove that.
True. Very good. Well, talking points of the round. Harry.
The biggest one here, Harry will want to talk about it. It was my point.
What I was going to say.
But I'm going to steal it off him because I was watching this match and Harry was not watching it live. And I'm sitting here going, Harry is going to be so excited if he watches this game. Sammy Penny Finau basically playing on the wing. He was dropping back for, kicks and things as well. They were trying to give him ball in space, give him ball on the wing. And he made an outrageous amount of runs.
18, I think it was, from memory, on the original tally.
Yeah, it was 18
runs.
He also got injured maybe 3 times in that match and seemed to keep on kicking when there was not much left in him. But that was an interesting tactic. Not something I think we've really seen, Sammy Penny or other people use to that extent out wide.
Well, he's a very special talent as well in that he grew up playing fullback. So it's just suddenly he had this growth spurt, became massive, and they went, well, you're too big to be a fullback, son, so get in there. And anyway, they used him. It takes a team like the Chiefs with that kind of creativity and also the ability to leave him out there. But I think, God, he was awesome.
I do think that you see a lot of loose forwards sitting out on the wing, but it's more all like the old Dane Coles role, they used to just throw it to him at the end of close to a line to try and barge over or something like that. But they were just using Finau so much. And I did realise that late in the game, Nato Akoi came on and they were using him in a similar role, funnily enough, on one of the wings as well. So it's obviously a tactic that they're looking for those mismatches on the wings to have that size just to power over people. I'd love to see Peter Gus at full steam out there as well. It's very entertaining to watch. And as we said, 18 runs. Sam Penny-Finau also made 16 tackles. So his work rate was just ridiculous on both sides of the ball. And you're right, I was absolutely frothing having picked him up as my loose forward for the week. What a game from him.
That's it. Harry and I only talked about whether we should pick him up for about half an hour, and I decided not to. And I could have won the round if I hadn't. So, there you go. Anyway.
Yes.
How good. Nels, the Drua.
Yeah, mate. The interesting just a fact out of this one is they're yet to win 2 on the trot. In their short career, we won't include the MRC when they won. I think they might have won 2 seasons on the trot, so we won't count that. But in Super Rugby, they had an absolute cracker last week, and the travel and things obviously proved to be a little bit too much this week. Hopefully, they don't bounce back too well in this week coming. We'll touch on why that is later. But it's just an interesting one. They're showing that they can beat the top sides, but to be, really pushing for the chockies at the end, they need to get a couple in a row.
I'll tell you when they'll win 2 on the trot, when they get 2 home games in a row. That's when they'll definitely win 2 on the trot, mate. But
they may finish with
they left a few players at home and things like that, a few ifs with injuries and whatnot, but true. Now, the Reds, we talked about the Reds first win on Kiwi soil since 2013 to no end. A major achievement, like we said,
I've got one question on this. Does this turn their season around, or is this the exception, not the rule?
No, it doesn't change the season around.
Absolutely I think not. They lost Jordan Bataille, so no.
What I think it does do is it gives them a bit of confidence and a bit of a boost, and it's something that I think some of those players have been playing with confidence. Mick Wright, Tate, Wilson, they don't need any boost of confidence, but there's other blokes around the paddock that I think this will give them a boost. And especially, it might reflect in the Wallabies when they play for the Wallabies and have that confidence against the Kiwis. So it had to happen, and I think it's really, really good to see.
All it does,
to answer my own question, we did say that the Ndrua would score their first 2 wins in a row when they had 2 home games. Well, their last 2 rounds are in Fiji, and the last game is against the Reds. So, by that logic, it can't have turned it around.
I was going to say all that the Reds winning does is it proves when every coach says, "Mate, we can beat any team on our day." It's proven that statement, that type of G up, So
yeah.
4 Aussie wins. We talked about that. How good? And
point we've already done, mate. There's one more to throw in here. If you look in your background, again, we say that each time you should be watching this on YouTube, not just listening. You've got which brothers is it behind you, mate?
Talking about me, I've got the Ioane brothers. Here's my background.
Yeah, you're the only one with brothers in the background. Ioane brothers and Akira. He notched up. Was it 100 this week? And they, I don't know if you saw the Blues doing the haka in the sheds for him, and he gets back into it, starts doing the haka back, and it was awesome to see. Absolutely great part.
I actually haven't seen that yet, so I'm super looking forward to it.
I love it.
Frankly, I couldn't believe that he only played about 10 minutes in that Crusaders game. But anyway.
I didn't write this down, but I think Akira scored 3. Sorry, Artie scored 3 on the weekend, didn't he?
He did.
He did, mate. I'm about to touch
I believe that took him to 52 tries. No, sorry, 32 tries. Definitely not 52. 32 tries and made him the highest scoring forward ever for the Hurricanes, which I can only assume he overtook Dane Coles, who also has 1 million tries.